Any other comments from the commissioners?
Maybe just one question for Mr. Mayor. Ken, what's the status of the current mule deer plan? And I mean, is it due for update? Where are you guys at in regards to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's due for an update. And there's an action plan component to that has not completed, that needs to be done. Frankly, I think the update is much easier to do because there's not a lot of the science that we need to update. It's a matter of figuring out how to put that stuff that's said in the plan into practice. Setting goals and objectives, but not the way that the subcommittee has derived that clearly. But, so certainly, if you choose today, listening to conversation, choose to suspend the policy, I would suggest that we go back to what we had and build from there and improve it, not throw it out, create a bunch of quasi-science and stuff that doesn't really make any sense from a professional perspective.
So as far as moving forward, just from a procedural standpoint, it sounds like that would be a topic for a future agenda.
Okay, Commissioner Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was involved with that original plan that was developed in '06. There was reference to it in some of the public comment, and it was left pretty vague for purpose. We're not biologists. We were establishing a framework, and it was built through really very significant game board process. We vetted it. We took Tony Wasley and his roving show, his presentation onto every game board in the state, and that was done over a pretty significant period of time. And I myself, I attended probably 10 of those, I imagine. I saw that presentation probably 20 plus times, and Tony modified it just a little bit each and every time. It was full of information, and I think policy's not a disaster, okay? I mean, there are things in here to work with, there's no doubt about it. For me, from my perspective, there's a couple things in here that are, that I know Tony doesn't agree with the no-doe harvests. I know he doesn't agree with that. There's concepts of related to predation control that I think are a little more complicated than are laid out in the plan. Those are the types of things that I think we can vet out as part of the plan. And I do agree. I think that plan, the one thing that I think the department and the commission after 2006, so it's kind of a combination of a number of commissions, there wasn't a ton of follow-up. And does that make it an abject failure? No, it doesn't. It means that we need to review it and see if we can revitalize it, get it back on track. I know that some of the PMUs, I guess we were using PMUs as we kind of that concept, same concept as with the sage grouse management areas. And I know that there were a handful that were kind of going through as a pilot, and that there were varying degrees of those being completed. And we do need to follow up on those, and we do need to get it back in place. And maybe there's a place for a combination, but I hate to give up on the actual management plan. They're very specific to the areas that are affected. Some areas have predator problems perceived through the management plan. Some are pinyon juniper issues. Some are lack of water. Some are, they all vary. And I'd love to go back to that process and make it work.
So would we.
Okay. Well, we're looking for a motion at this time. Mr. Robb.
I'll make a motion to suspend policy 28, get it on a future agenda to meet the second reading requirement to just make policy 28 go away. And it's right, and they'll have to dust off the mule deer plan before.
Your plan is not mentioned in our agenda. No. The mule deer plan, the mule deer plan is not a part of the motion, so I think we got a problem with having that.
I'll remove the mule deer plan from the motion.
Okay. Why don't you just restate the motion?
Okay, I'll restate the motion that we immediately suspend policy 28 effective today, and put it on a future agenda for a second reading.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further comment on the motion? Commissioner Rain.
Thank you. I'll make it very brief. You know, it's a travesty to suspend probably one of the better policies that's ever been out there. You know, and it's sad. It's truly sad to see progressive attitude towards mule deer restoration is just, I mean, it appears to be going away. Why is everybody not focused on this issue? Why are they not jumping on these items and saying, hey, we really like those items, let's just push it a little bit farther? This should be a mild framework to get started on these items. In order to bring back mule deer population, we need to make drastic action happen. We can't just keep talking about it. And that's why this is focused on actual actionable items. It can happen. However, due to politics of the matter, we have not. This policy has not been implemented. So you might as well suspend it. You might as well suspend it because it hasn't been implemented. The department is not currently focused on growing our population. It needs to be. It must be. Whatever you come up with, make it do it. It has refused to recognize many of the factors in this policy and many of the commission findings by touting political views that are disguised as biology. They're disguised as biology, utilizing bio-speak to confuse matters. We should have, biopoliticians, I mean, we need to have biology and focus on the biology of the matter. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Robb. Jared, Drew, excuse me. Jared?
Yeah, I would just like to say that to Commissioner Raines, I agree with you. We need action, but we need to do it in the right way.
Okay. Commissioner Robb.
I'd like to amend the motion to send the whole policy back to the cabs intact, have the cabs vetted, and bring it back to the commission. In other words, every one of them said there was a lot of things in there that they agreed with. Let's see what they are. Or better yet, let's see which ones they disagree with. And reword them maybe, or eliminate them. But to just throw it away, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, every one of them said there's a lot of things in there. I'd like to amend the motion to send it back to the cabs, and let's get them on board to rewrite it, help rewrite it.
I'll second the motion for purpose of discussion.
Okay, we have an amendment to the motion. I guess, is there any discussion on the amendment? Commissioner McNair.
I guess what was the intent of the original motion?
To suspend policy 28 immediately and bring it back for a second reading to make policy 28 go away. And I can't put in the record the rest of what I want to because it's not agenda.
So, in theory, based on that, this particular item, the policy, is going to end up going back to the cabs at that point in time.
Correct.
So I think maybe that's more of a clarifying point as far as the thing, because I think that my understanding of the original motion was kind of achieving what you're proposing now. So that's clarifying. That makes sense to me.
I think that what's lacking, when you say that you're amending the motion, you amending it to add on this as an addition to Commissioner Robb's motion, or are you basically asking that it completely replace Commissioner Robb's motion?
I would guess that's probably what I'm doing, replace that motion to send it back to the cabs, because
Which
it
does not
seemed to me like that's the major contention, is the cabs didn't get the vetters good enough. Well, let's give them the opportunity.
Okay, but it doesn't involve suspension of the policy. So, Commissioner Robb.
I can't support the amended motion. I believe my motion lets it go back to the cabs And if the Cavs want to see it go away, they can say at that point. But if they want another bite at that apple at that point, they can vote to keep it and amend it at that time. So I can't support the amended motion the way it was stated.
Okay, any further comment? Okay, let's go, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be voting on the amendment. The amendment is really an amendment by substitution of a motion, a new motion, which is to, have the policy 28 go back to the CABs for comment input. So we will go ahead and vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment?
I'm sorry. Could you clarify that again? The motion was to go back to the CABs can examine it, accept it, or they can reject it. Is that correct? Because it seems there's a lot of work put into it, and Commissioner Brown said that send it back to the CABs and let them take it apart. So he said there was a lot of good things in it, and rather than reject it, just go ahead and give us some good parts.
Yeah, I didn't mean to restate Commissioner Howe's motion. I mean, he basically, the way I understand it, he wanted it to go back to the CAB for CAB input and comment. Okay. Does everybody understand it? Okay, all in favor of the motion, the amendment to the motion, raise your hands by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. You get that? Okay. Okay, now, what we're going to do is we're going to vote on the main motion. Commissioner Robb, you want to restate it?
My main motion is to immediately suspend policy 28, send it back to the CABs so there is a second reading before policy 28 goes away. So we have multiple readings of policy 28. If the CABs like stuff in it and they decide they want to keep it, they can keep it at that point. So my motion is to suspend policy 28, send it back to the CABs for removal of the policy.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and call for a vote. Commissioner Howell, do you have a comment?
Okay. I just want to make damn sure that this here is coming around like it's supposed to. This original proposal here is the commission may choose to retain policy 28, comma, modify all or part of policy 28, comma, or to eliminate policy 28 in its entirety. The commission may also take action to immediately suspend policy 28 pending final action on revisions to policy 28. That last item is what we seem to be voting on now.
That's right.
Okay. 10-4.
Okay. So, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Hey.
Aye. Great. That is the opposite. Okay.
Sorry, William.
Okay. How are we doing? Everybody all right? It's 2:30. Do we need a little break, or we need a break? Okay. How about 5 minutes? Can we give that 5 minutes? Okay, 5-minute break. Be back here 2:35.